Are you looking to do deals and master flipping houses? Welcome to the Do Deals Show with our host, Mr. Tim Mai. As a successful investor and mentor to many real estate investors, Tim's students consistently run 6- and 7-figure investing businesses. Each week, you'll hear from top real estate investors who share the best strategies, systems, and secrets that you can use to be more successful. Tim and his guests will pull back the curtain for you to learn their exact tactics, tricks, and tools that are working best right now in today's real estate market. Now, let's welcome Mr. Tim Mai.
All right, we are live on Facebook. Hello, everybody.
Yes, we are. What's up, everybody?
Hey, Mo. All right. Hi, everybody. Really great to have you on this interview with me today. Today I have Rowand on the line with us. Mo and his team, they do over 25 deals a month, wholesaling, turnkey properties. And so, Mo, can you share with everybody, how do you make $1,000 in a whole year as a real estate wholesaler?
Okay, so Tim, and disclaimer, you got to tell everybody that was a joke, man. we can't have them thinking we're making $1,000 a year, but no, we were just jokingly just saying that in the wholesaling business, man, if you don't have a team to put around yourself, you will end up making $1,000 a year, if even that, because it's not as easy as the idea of I don't necessarily need cash up front makes people think that it doesn't cost me any money at all to do it, and that's not necessarily the same thing. And anybody that does it, like you and I were just talking about, they'll tell you it costs quite a bit to be able to get it started and be able to make it happen. So yeah, that's kind of where that joke came from.
Right. Now you mentioned that a lot of people think that wholesaling is the easiest way to get started in the business. Right. But you don't believe that. You're like, that's not true at all. It's much easier to do fix and flip. So speak into that real quick. What's the difference for someone listening in? Perhaps they're new to real estate investing. They're looking at, the different strategies to get in. So speak into the differences, the challenges or different, I guess, pros and cons of, wholesaling or flipping.
Right. And so here's the thing, Tim, with wholesaling, the whole thing of it is being able to dig out deals that aren't on the market. Right. So it's not like you're going to find stuff that's just readily available that anybody can find. So if you got to go digging in deal, for deals, you got to have some type of marketing and advertising dollars to be able to help you sift through all the rubble of all these properties. Not only do you need to have cash, but you need to have a team of people to be able to attract deals to you. Like, for example, briefly, like we have a whole team of people that go out and put out signs to attract deals. We have to pay for signs and pay people to put them out. We have to have a whole nother team of people that are sending out flyers and buying flyers to people that have homes to try to get leads and try to find deals. Go to the probate courts. Then you have to have a whole staff to answer all this influx of calls, pay for the software, pay for all the leads, track them, monitor them, follow up with them to hopefully possibly get a deal. And so that's the wholesaling side, but it can be really lucrative once you get it going. Versus the flip side, I can just go to, realtor.com. I can go on Hubzu. I can go to even just Zillow, and I can find some properties that are cheap enough in decent enough areas to where I could set up a hard money bank and just buy their property, negotiate it down, find it one property at a decent enough price to where I can go and do a fix and flip on it without having the team, without needing all the different people, without, you know what I mean? It doesn't take as much to dig through it. And, and so that's kind of the thing. So you just have to ask yourself as a wholesaler, am I willing to put the system and the pieces around it? So I'm not just running around here, thinking, and people say it all the time, I'm going to do wholesaling first so I can make enough money so I can be able to go do fix and flip. And I'm like, where are you going to get the money from and from who? Like, where you going to get the deals from? You know what I'm saying? They don't just fall out the sky like that. And so, yeah, so that's really the main thing that Brian and I teach our students. They're looking to get into the wholesale side.
Awesome. All right, Facebook, we're going to go offline now and continue with the rest of our interview. If you like this video so far, make sure you press like, share it with your friends. Keep an eye out for when we post the entire interview. So with that, happy investing. We'll see you in a bit.
Absolutely, guys. We're gonna do the rest of the interview, and I'll post it for you guys to to be able to check out the rest of it on Tim's page. You guys have a good one.
Awesome.
All right.
All right, Mo. Let's go back a little bit. Share with us how you get started in real estate investing, and and then how you got to where you are now, and you're doing 25 deals a month.
Well, it initially started out, Tim. I was doing loans, and I was just basically just a loan officer. I think 24, maybe 25 years old. Uh, yeah, year many. I'm probably telling my age, but but there you go, baby. There you go, Tim. Right. And so I was looking. I never forget, man. I was looking at a HUD settlement statement, and when I first learned how to read them, and I remember it said cash to seller, $84,000, $372. And I remember saying to myself, man, what in the hell? How do I get to be the seller? And and I think that was the birth of my real estate inquisition. And I very quickly, someone told me about the term hard money lending shortly thereafter that. And because as a 24, 25-year-old kid, not having any money, didn't have good credit, none of that stuff, man. And so just started researching of how I could access the funds. And once I realized that hard money lenders would give you money to buy, fix, and rehab, that was all she wrote, man. We started rocking and rolling and back in 04, 05, right before the market, popped. And then fast forward how then the market crashed. We had to sell everything. Literally, we had all our eggs in a real estate basket, right? And so my wife and I packed up everything. We moved to California to pursue entertainment. Wife has a film and video degree. I had a sales and marketing degree. I said, hell, you make movies, I'll sell them, we'll move to California. Fast forward, the real estate market started picking back up. And when we got back into it, it wasn't the same climate as wasn't the same. The banks weren't the same. The hard money wasn't the same. It wasn't as easy to access. People, even if you did find a property and, being able to get somebody financed for it on the backside of it, it just wasn't the same business, a few years ago. So we had to figure out a way to get back in the game, but we wanted to do it under new circumstances. And so that's where the wholesaling came about. We had enough cash to be able to start the system, get everything set up, but we didn't want to necessarily have to rely on people getting financing in order to be able to get in and out of these houses. And what happens is, Tim, when you start marketing and start getting properties, what happens is you start building a team of buyers and sellers, right? And I tell people, man, if you want to start building your group of buyers, man, get you some stuff under contract and start marketing it. And what happened is we started attracting buyers from other countries. We started attracting buyers from different places that had cash. And so then now we had a kind of more built-in exit strategy when we started to buying properties. And what we would do, and I encourage everyone to do this, we always would purchase properties in reverse. And what I mean by that is, Tim, we would talk to our investors, find out what they like, what they're looking for in the areas they want to buy in. And so then we would only buy that, as opposed to trying to just buy stuff and trying to find somebody for it. We what our buyers like, and so it's certain areas even now in Memphis that we don't buy in, simply because we don't have buyers that buy in that area. And so we targeted on our board, and we teach our staff, hey, we don't buy there. We don't buy there. We would, if I had somebody that wanted something over there, I would buy. But until we do, we only buy where we have buyers.
Right. So what about when your buyers don't really know? Like, if or are most of your buyers experienced enough to know where they want to buy?
Okay, so that's a good point. A lot of them are, but then some people, like if you're out of the country, the only thing you care about is bottom line and return on investment. Like they don't know the difference between, uptown Dallas and lower Dallas and this and that. I mean, my only thing is, like, if I put X amount of money in, what's my return on investment? So we have spreadsheets for those people as well too. They really more so care about just cash flowing and that kind of thing, turnkey, that type of person. So then we just have our highest return on investment properties listed for those people. It doesn't really matter where they are, but typically we still won't have anything in those other zip codes because we're not going to chance buying in those other places, hoping that we can get rid of them. So the people who don't know what they want to buy, then they're going to pick from the list of what we have in the zip codes, right? That we know that we can move in, right?
Right. No, that's good. That's good. What's the percentage of your deals are, straight wholesale deals and the percentage that are turnkey properties?
You know, that'll vary from some month to month, Tim. It's not necessarily the same all the time, but I would say probably 50-50 right
Oh, okay.
now. Yeah,
And
for the most part.
now, are most of your turnkeys foreign investors, like investors from other countries, or they're
Some,
also U.S. investors?
they're also U.S. investors as well too. A lot of the U.S. investors really want turnkey. A lot of the U.S. investors, especially our California investors and that kind of thing, all they want to do is be able to put the money in a property that's ready and just know what the return is. They don't want to deal with rehabbing it and getting it together and all of that stuff.
Gotcha. Where do you go and find these investor buyers that are looking for turnkey properties?
Well, they actually find us most of the time. Um, okay, so for one, with all the social media advertising that we do, man, if you saw our inboxes of I just see all the properties you guys have, and we get flooded with inboxes, wanting to get lists, all the properties that we have on our website, and just the constant just marketing of just people seeing properties. When you give me a call and you want to hear about property on 123 Main Street, right? You're going to tell me what you're looking for, and I'm going to get your buyer profile and everything. So now I have you as a buyer, right? And the thing is, so you may not buy in January, Tim, right? But I know what you're looking for, and I'm going to keep sending them to you until you buy, die, or tell me to stop. And and at some point, we'll run across and we'll land you on the kind of properties that you're looking for. So when they come in, we just keep them. So we're not necessarily having to find buyers every single month. The list is just getting bigger. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does. Okay. So you advertising your turnkey properties on different social media sites, and then the buyers are finding you.
Right. And then we're also doing Google AdWords as well too. That's another piece I don't think we talked about yet. Google AdWords, also Facebook sponsored ads are a good thing as well too.
Now, are you using AdWords and Facebook ads to find buyers or to find sellers, or both?
We use it for both. We use them for both. Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's good to know. Okay, well, what are other ways that you find deals? What are some other marketing methods that you use?
Yeah, and so we have a property. So we're also property managers as well too, and so even just looking at deals with property managers. So let's say a person calls in and they say, well, I don't want to sell you my property. Okay, great. Well, who's managing the property for you? Well, I'm managing it myself. Well, then now we can get a deal from a property management standpoint, right? And if I'm managing your property for you now, when you decide you want to sell their property, who's going to be the first person in line to buy it, right? And so you can build your pipeline with that. You can build it obviously with social media. You can build it off all the specific investor sites as well too. So not just Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, but there's things like Flip to Freedom. There's things like Investor Carrot. There's other social media sites that are geared to strictly just real estate investing, and I advise everybody to partner with those sites as well too.
Gotcha. Okay. Now, this goes off topic a little bit, but your property management strategy. I mean, I heard that property management is a pretty hard business. It's a very low margin business. Is your goal to not make much money in the hard money on the property management side, but looking at buying and selling as the bulk of your money, and then the property management kind of is like a lead generator for you?
Yeah, and see, the property manager also too gives people peace of mind too, and so it was almost a business that we also was almost forced into starting, because when people call you, especially if they want to turnkey, right? They don't want to have to say, hey, yeah, I'm going to get the property fixed, but then you have to go find a property management company to deal with, long term, right? And so for us, if we're going to buy it and make money on the rehab and selling of the property, after a while, you get tired of just farming out the property management side. And then we also were buying small apartment complexes as well too. So it wasn't just a one, $60 on one property. If you're talking about 30 properties at one time, this starts to add up over the course of 12 months. And so that was also really kind of like a deal closer thing for us as well too. If you're going to look at buying from either Tim or Mowbray or Homes for 10K or whatever, well, when I buy from these guys, it's completely turnkey, one stop. They're going to get it for me, rehab it, get it done. and they're going to handle getting the tenant. The tenant is the hard part. Anybody can put nails up and paint, right? But getting the tenant, managing, collecting the money, like that's the part that scares and worries people. And so on the end, if I can go ahead and tell you that that's, it's going to be alleviated, then that helps just close more business as a value add for the customer, not even just a margin on making money on it.
Right. All right. That's good. So what would, like, how many different, I want to get into the systems and how you manage your leads and the different software you use now. So first of all, how many different marketing channels do you normally have going on at a time?
So we usually have about 4 or 5, but we have one person that's in charge of doing them all. Yeah, and so we have one guy, and he's a virtual. He works out of the Philippines, does a fantastic job. But there's accountability even within his marketing. I know different people have virtual assistants and people that work for them in their marketing. One of the things that I would say, and my partner actually came up with this idea, at the end of the day on your marketing, you need to inspect what you expect, right? And so one of the things that our team do for us at the end of the day, they send us an end of day report. And they tell us, okay, I marketed in these places. These are how many posts I made. This is where I posted. This is what I was doing. And so it just kind of makes sure that it's checking off everything that we're expecting to be done and make sure it's done. So if the leads aren't coming in or phones aren't ringing, we know the reason why.
Right. Okay. And so when you after you do your marketing, where's the leads coming in? What system are you using to manage all these leads?
So that's a really cool thing too. So we built out something called a Podio, and Podio allows us to assign phone numbers, generate phone numbers as well too. And so we can generate phone numbers to different marketing campaigns. So we'll give one phone number to the signs, right? We'll give another phone number to the Facebook leads. We'll give another phone number for driving by dollars. We'll have another one for Facebook and Instagram, another one for Google. And just everywhere that we have leads, we have a different phone number to it. So when it comes in, we can see where the leads are coming from. Okay, and then we have a person that's a lead sourcing manager that sources and manages all the leads and distribution of the leads when they come in. All right, and so all that's done through Podio. And so he manages and tracks the leads. And then they go to another department that's in charge of getting out the blast calls. And like there's technology and software even for that, like even being able to get calls out. We have something called a Mophie dialer. And the Mophie dialer just dials more calls and out at one time. So we can be able to, our office manager can be able to have calls go out more than one person, because you get voicemails and that kind of thing. So it just makes the process faster and more efficient.
So is it one of those phone systems that that if someone picks up the phone, then it connects to a live person, like on someone on your team, or is it that phone system where it goes straight to their voicemail and leaves them a message?
No. So what it does, it actually places live calls at the same time, like 3 calls at a time, and whoever answers the phone first of the 3, it automatically connects the calls to our office manager. And then if the other 2 people answer the phone after I'm on it, it'll automatically prompt a message and just saying something to the effect of, sorry, we missed you. Then it'll leave a message, and then it'll call them back once we get off the call.
Ah, okay. Gotcha. All right. And then, all right. So the VA that does the marketing, that's a VA in the Philippines. The person that's sourcing these leads once it comes in, is that someone here or someone overseas as well?
Someone overseas as well.
Okay. And then the office manager is here?
It's here. It's
okay.
Actually.
All right. And then what does the office manager do after that?
So then it's their job to manage getting out, doing the call blast when they come in. And then we train them on the script of when a person answers the phone, hey, this is Mo from Homes for 10K. We're calling you about the house on Chelsea Street. Want to see if you'd be interested in having someone talk to you about selling the home. And then we teach them certain language of, how, what would you take for the house if we close, the whole scripts that we use. And then from there, we start sending out offers to them. And then we send out offers to them. We get another person on the team to go out, take pictures of the property.
So the office manager, is the office sent out from Podio?
Yep. It's not from Podio. Yep. It's actually what happens. The lead sourcing manager, once we come up with the number, we have our lead sourcing manager send out the contract to the homeowner, and so hey, send out this offer at this price. So what it does is stops the office manager from having to stop typing all the information, because just getting a contract together can be
right.
It can take you a few minutes to do it, especially if you got to do a lot of them in a day. So our thing with her is just getting them on the phone, establishing the contact, and once we get the numbers going, we'll have someone else send the paperwork out for you, so you can continuously be on the phone. And then we use an app called Slack that helps us communicate the contracts back and forth from the different departments. Hey Tim, send this contract out to Joe at this address for this amount. This is the terms of the agreement, et cetera, et cetera. And I can just text that to someone really quickly, and then they'll actually go make it official, get the right emails, get it out, and take it through the process.
Right. Okay. So then, who so does all the negotiations happen over the phone, or do you actually have an acquisition, outside salesperson that goes on the appointment?
It just depends. We have another acquisition person. I mean, that's kind of if need be kind of person. We'll try to do as much as we can right there over the phone if the person is a motivated. And if we can wrap it up right there, we wrap it up right then. As you know, many people have more questions. They want to talk to someone in person, and so everything you won't be able to do in a one call over the phone, and it may have to be more personal. We may have to send someone out. So we have an acquisition manager that goes out in those cases and meets with the people and make them feel warm and fuzzy and all of that stuff.
Gotcha. Okay, that's pretty cool. All right, and so to do 25 deals a month, how big is your team?
Yeah, I mean it's really only about 8 of us or so, which is still a pretty big team, and everybody has specific things that they do all day though. So that's the thing that really makes it work. I don't do a million things. I don't, like everybody does specific things. Even with myself, we do different things.
Sure. So out of the 8, how many is here in the U.S. and how many are in the Philippines?
2 are in the Philippines. Everybody else is in the U.S.
Gotcha. Okay.
Not necessarily all in Memphis, but in the U.S.
Right. Okay. Oh yeah. Which is another. I know you have moved to Atlanta now. So are most of your team they stay in Memphis, and then it's just you that moved to Atlanta?
Yeah, and then so we're basically going to be branching the exact same operation we have in Memphis. We're going to be building the same thing at our Atlanta office. Yeah, and then we already have the support in place because we have the system and the support. So now it's just a matter of the leads and the marketing here, and we're going to turn up the same operation here as well.
Gotcha. Okay, that sounds good. So we talk about Podio. You use that to manage all the leads. You said it was a Mophie Dollar. You talk about Slack to do your communication between your team. Any other software that you use in your business?
Yeah, Facebook Messenger. So Facebook Messenger is basically our direct blog that we can talk in with everybody's in the same group. So it's everybody can just talk, and then in Messenger you can put voice messages in there as well too on the record. So sometimes just typing, things can get lost in translations. A lot of the time I need to record and say, hey, listen, do this, and this, and this. And so it allows us to be able to put groups together in Messenger to do that. We use eVoice as an app to be able to have everybody with the same phone numbers for the selling department and buying department. So when people call, they can call directly into that number, and we can put those numbers on our apps on our cell phone, so we can all be able to use them.
I gotcha, eVoice. Okay. Anything else?
From an app, that's the majority of most of the apps that we use.
Okay, that sounds good. And then so in terms of your on the selling side, how do you decide when to wholesale, when to when to do the turnkey? Do you when you have a property in a contract, do you make that decision, or do you blast that out to your buyers and then let them make that decision?
We let them make the decision. And one of the things that we started doing, Tim, we started including in the sales price what the cost of rehab would be as well too. And so if we, let me just making up numbers here, but if we into it, we know we want to get 15 grand off a property, or if we want to sell it for 15 grand, that's the sales price, and it's going to be another 15 grand worth of rehab, then we'll put it out there at 30 grand to include rehab, right? And so for people that want to know what it's going to cost all in, which that's a lot of the people now. Like, people aren't nearly as interested in doing a whole bunch of rehab as they were a few years ago.
Right. So when you blast it out as a turnkey. This is what your cost would be all in, and then if you want to do it yourself, then just remove deduct the rehab cost, and that would be your as is price.
Right.
Gotcha. Okay, that's simple enough.
Yeah, and it works great too, because then you give people the option, if because oftentimes these people aren't in Memphis, so or wherever it is. So if they have an option of, having somebody on the ground just do everything for them, as opposed to having to put together their own crew, for the people that have their own crews and they want to do it themselves, they definitely have that option. We don't make anybody, use us or anything, but we just like to put it out there as additional for anybody that needs it. Yeah.
That's awesome. Awesome. Cool. Now, I know you and your partner have started doing some training, teaching other investors how to get started as well. Tell us a little bit about that. What is it that you teach? How is it different from all the different courses that are out there?
Right. And so here's the thing with us. Like, first of all, most of the classes cost just a ridiculous amounts of money. And then you still end up leaving the class. I think it's not really hands-on, and you don't really actually end up being able to buy anything. And one of the things the first thing is that within our class, the property is so cheap in the market that we live in. We're going to show people how to actually start pulling the trigger and start getting some of these properties, right there in the city that otherwise, people would never be able to do. And I think this is one of the biggest things. People don't get these classes just for theory, right? They're doing it so they can be able to actually get into the game, get into actually what's going on. So outside of that, then we're going to show you actually how to be able to get yourself to be able to get in the property as well too, whether that's financing. We're going to show you, actually physically, this is who we need to call. This is the contacts. These are the kind of deals they do. And kind of what I was telling you earlier in the interview, teach people how to work reverse. Like, get your exit strategy together, get how you're going to get in and out of these properties. And then now all you got to do now is go shopping.
Right.
Do the front end first.
Gotcha. Okay. And is this is this a national program, or is it and then you tell them to do deals in Memphis, or what?
No, I mean, so here's the thing. No, you don't necessarily have to just do deals in Memphis, but it is one of the best real estate markets as far as affordable properties. And so for anybody that's looking to get you something that's affordable on the front end, we're going to make this available to you. But we want to show people how they can apply these same skills in whatever market that whatever market they're in. Obviously, different markets are different. There may be different strategies, different ways of that you need to get in and out of deals. But it's ultimately all real estate: buy low, sell high. Do a good job on your rehab. So that core principle is always the same. And then we'll just teach people how to navigate in and out of the whatever markets they may be in.
Gotcha. Okay. And so is it flips that you're teaching people to do, or is it wholesaling, or what?
It's going to be both, actually, and it actually has a component for commercial properties as well too. Mindset, obviously, there's a lot of that, and just making sure you understand what the business is, the kind of attitude you need to have towards it. I think is key. But then it's getting into the wholesaling, how to properly, how to do different types of rehabs. It's rehabs you do for rental properties. There's rehabs you do for sale properties. So we're going to go into all those different, nuts and bolts of those things, of how to make sure you're not spending too much, and what types of B and C properties are, how to deal with buyers and sellers, how to close out based on personality types. So the class really goes into really a lot of detail, a lot of energy, a lot of enthusiasm, and I'm excited for the people that's getting ready to take it.
That's awesome, bro. All right, Mo. By now I'm sure the listeners wants to find out how they can get a hold of you, how they can connect with you, learn from you, invest with you. Where would you like to send them?
I would say you can definitely reach out to us on Facebook, which is Mowbray Rowand on Facebook. You can also reach out to us at Homes for 10K Our email address is info@homesfor10k, and that's HOMES, the number 4, 10K. And then also too on Facebook at those as well too. So we got a television show that we're going to be rolling out here really really soon. I'm excited for that for you guys. It's basically I give Tim's listeners the first glimpse of what's going to happen with that. So we're finished with the pilot, and so I'll be sending you the trailer, Tim, probably in the next couple of weeks. But it's basically a television show, urban real estate in Memphis, Tennessee. And I think the difference between this versus what you guys have seen on most shows is that it's not in LA, it's not $1 million homes, it's not at the beach, it's not sky-rise condos and all this stuff. It's real America. I always tell people between New York and LA, there's a place called America. And in America, man, the houses don't cost $1 million. They're $80,000, $90,000, $100,000 houses. So for us, we want to represent those neighborhoods, represent those people, represent our community, and the minority community as well too. We want to be able to represent the minority community as far as flipping and real estate investing, and showing our community that we do these type of investing as well, and we do it in our neighborhood and in the hood versus suburban America, because those homes need to be flipped and represented as well too. So that's the premise of the show, man. And I can't wait for you guys to see it. I think it's going to be special, man. I really do.
Right. No, it sounds good. That's awesome. Cool. Well, Mo, thank you so much, buddy. This has been a phenomenal interview. I appreciate you greatly. You share a lot. I'm sure the listeners have been writing a bunch of notes to make sure they capture everything. Awesome. So just really thank you, buddy.
I mean, no problem, but make sure you send me a copy of this when you get it ready, okay?
Sure will. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in.
And that's our show for today. If you have any questions or would like to get further training from Tim Mai, please visit our website at www.dodeals.com/Tim.